holding back the urge to take over the gavel after our many years together.
No, it's like a well-worn pair of shoes for you. Right?
There you go. Well, thank you, Senator Lee and your staff, Senator Booker and his staff, as well as Senator Welch for putting together this great hearing. I just want to start with you, Mr. Bosbos, because I think your company and others there are just a kind of a remedy of all of this, pro-competition, pro-entrepreneurship. It just shows how enforcing the antitrust laws and having them exist and knowing that they're out there makes a big difference. To me, it's pro-consumer and it's pro-capitalism. And that's why you see such broad political support and interest in all of this, and sometimes frustration that we haven't been able to move some of this legislation because of lobbying that I think actually would have been better for the companies in the first place. We want these companies to exist. We just want a fair marketplace. And so now we're coming at it a different way. And having prevailed in its case to challenge Google's monopoly in the online search market, in which Google controls, as we all know, more than 90% of search queries, the Justice Department has asked the court to stop Google from self-preferencing its online search product within the Android system. This remedy mirrors the prohibitions on anti-competitive self-preferencing that's actually in the bill that Senator Grassley and I have that the company has spent hundreds of millions of dollars against in advertising. How does Google's self-preferencing of its search product within its Android operating system, which runs on more than 40% of the smartphones in the U.S., cement its monopoly over online search?
Thank you so much, Senator, and appreciate everything you said. Google's, on Android devices, it takes more than 10 steps to change your device default search engine. There is no setting on Android devices that just says search engine. It's buried among many different settings and many different apps. As I think other folks on the panel would agree, tech companies are usually really good at designing user interface and settings, and if they want you to click on something, they know very well how to do it. And the opposite is also true. If they don't want you to click on something, if they don't want you to be able to do something, they know very well how to put that together. So, we believe that the sort of self-preferencing on Android is the primary thing preventing Americans from having more privacy and picking DuckDuckGo.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tan, are there other areas within its business that Google is able to self-preference its own adjacent products that the court should consider addressing so that small companies like Y Combinator can compete and innovate?
Absolutely. At Y Combinator and speaking for little tech and startups, we're not asking for a handout. We're not asking for privileged access. We actually want equal access. We want a fair market and a seat at the table to provide choice to consumers. And there are some significant areas. Other senators today mentioned their interest in child safety online. One of the requests for startups I put out on my X feed recently was a request for startups for alternatives using AI to replace YouTube Kids. And one of the things that we discovered is that there are actually Google policies that close this market to new entrants. Startups are actually barred from releasing such an alternative. And as an investor, it is not possible for us to invest in companies that are barred from markets.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Kent, one harm from Google's monopoly, Meta's monopoly, has been a fall in advertising revenue for news publishers, plummeting from $37 billion to less than $9 billion from 2008 to 20, with 1/3 of the newspapers closing since 2005. We have areas that have news deserts now. Meanwhile, Google reported more than $72 billion in ad revenue in just last quarter. You're aware of the bill that Senator Kennedy and I have that advanced through this committee in 23 on a 14-7 vote. AI, of course, can make this even more problematic if things are stolen and stories are stolen and we don't have any kind of procedure in place. Why is it so important that this and other remedies to protect news publishers are adopted by courts, and why is news content so valuable to platforms such as Google? That's a softball.
Thank you for that question. The fixing of the problem that there's really no bargaining power for news publishers was I think germane to your bill, and I think it's really important to the remedies that are on trial in a few weeks for Google search. And I see a lot of actual inspiration in those remedies from the work that you and the committee did. It's critically important. I think we all understand the value of a free and plural press. The ability for Google not only to control the discovery, but to actually absorb all of the data from news to both instruct its search engine, both how the queries respond, how the clicks are able to be recorded at scale that nobody else can touch, is critically important to its discovery engine and to the future of AI. And that came out in the courtroom too. There's like 15% of the queries on Google every day that have never been seen before by anybody. They're completely new keywords that have never been entered in a prompt before. And Google knows how to respond to those better than anybody because they have the context for that query and they get it a lot of times from news publishers and they don't pay for it. And that's a problem.
Thank you. And I'll have some additional questions on the record for you, Ms. Harper, and you, Professor. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Senator Klobuchar. Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you to you,